to Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter. He's made accurate predictions on more than 2,000 subjects, including the terrorist threat to the U.S. and the peace process in Northern Ireland. Joining us is New York University professor Bruce Bueno de Mesquita. He is the author of the book, The Predictioneer's Game, and the founder of Selectors LLC, a company specializing in making political and foreign policy forecasts. Welcome to Newsmax TV, Bruce.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Bruce, you've been described as a modern-day seer, a predictor of the future, but you're not psychic. You say your ability to predict is based on science. Can you give our viewers the simple version of how it is that you predict the futures and outcomes?
Sure. Basically, I start from the assumption that all people try to do what they believe is best for themselves, and that all we need to know to predict accurately what a decision will look like on any subject that involves the possibility of negotiation or coercion is who has an interest in trying to influence the decision, how much do they care about it, what outcome do they say they want, how influential could they be, and how important is it to them to come to agreement or to stick to their guns. You know that, you can predict with about 90% accuracy with the right model.
There are real worries that the revolution that began in Tunisia, now in Egypt, will spread elsewhere. Do you see that happening?
Yes, I do, although not to some key places. So it's unlikely to spread to those parts of the Middle East that have substantial oil wealth, such as Saudi Arabia, Libya, and so forth. It is noteworthy that all of the instability is arising in places that don't have oil wealth, because with oil wealth you can buy off the opposition. So I think there are good chances that there will be stability elsewhere, but not in the oil-rich states, and those are the folks who pretty much really control the Middle East.
What grade do you give the Obama administration for its response to the unrest in Egypt, and how will the administration's role factor in the outcome?
As far as how they've handled it, they're between a rock and a hard place. One of the things in a book I have coming out called The Dictator's Handbook, one of the points that that book makes is that democratic countries like the United States, surprisingly to most people, really generally don't want to promote real democracy in other countries, and for a very good reason. The job of democratic leaders is to do what their constituents want them to do. And while we all say we would like democracy elsewhere, when we're confronted with a choice between a democratically chosen regime that will institute policies that are abhorrent to us versus a dictatorial regime that will do what we want for foreign aid money, we tend to choose the latter. So when Hamas was elected in the Palestinian Authority, of course, the U.S. cut off its aid. When the Khomeini regime and now Khamenei took over in Iran, certainly not a democratic government, but much more democratic than the Shah, we cut them off because the Shah did what we liked and they don't. So we, the people, actually want governments that will do what we want as opposed to what their people want. So Obama's got the problem that on the one hand he has to advocate democracy because Americans expect that, and I'm sure he believes it, and on the other hand he also has to consider that his voters are going to look at what kind of government Egypt gets, whatever they may say now, 2 years down the road. If Egypt has a Muslim Brotherhood government and if they patch up with Al-Qaeda and are aligned with them, they're going to blame Obama. He can work that out now, so he has to pick a policy which is neither, it's not decisive, which is exactly what he's done. A non-decisive policy so that he can claim to have been on the right side whatever happens.
Bruce, Iran says it supports the Egyptian uprising. Many in the West, even the Arab world, fear an Iranian bomb. You have predicted Iran ultimately will not develop a bomb and war will be averted. How did you conclude that, and what is the outcome that you see?
I think Iran, as I have been arguing for the last several years, is very unlikely to build a bomb. They are likely to develop enough weapons-grade fuel so that the world knows they know how to build a bomb. They get all of the political advantages from doing that without the costs and the risks of building a bomb. I think the notion that the Israelis would, for example, use military force to take out their nuclear facilities is incorrect. If the Israelis were going to do that, they should have done it by now. Delay only makes the risks greater. I'm confident that the Obama administration would not endorse such action, and such action would be a mistake.
Bruce Bueno de Mesquita, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.